We'll be joined by our friends, David Aardsma and Kurt Helin. David Aardsma talks baseball with us as we go inside baseball every Wednesday on the show. Kurt Helin, SportsWrap's NBA Weekly. Find out what the latest of what's going on with LeBron. Kurt just back from his week at summer camp, also known as the NBA Summer League. So we'll get thoughts with him on everything NBA Summer League focused. We'll get into it with him on all of that. Also, a couple interesting stories to get to in odds and ends. Big news out of the NHL involving one of the league's flagship franchises, and also, I guess, a happy ending to this story involving Chelsea Gray of the Las Vegas Aces. If you haven't heard about it, we'll get to that as well. But we start things out as we always do on this Wednesday edition of the show. It's time for the big story. And the big story is presented by the Daily Wrap, our Substack newsletter, courtesy of SportsWrap with Jason Page. Monday through Friday, go and check this out. It is our daily newsletter covering the top stories in sports. It's available each afternoon. All you got to do is subscribe. You got your phone in your hand, scan the QR code, and go subscribe. It's free, and we would appreciate you doing so. It's a good read every afternoon for you as you're closing out your day. So I want to talk about the All-Star Game last night. And I want to talk about it in a bit of a different context. I mean, we'll get into the game aspect of it, and David Aardsma will join us, and we'll discuss that. But I want to talk about the start of the broadcast. I tuned it in just as this whole thing was going on, where MLB and Fox Sports, they did this love letter to baseball, right? And it preached about nostalgia. And it showed kids getting on bicycles, getting their bikes and all getting together in the neighborhood and driving down to the local ballpark, which in this case was actually Philadelphia Phillies Park, Citizens Bank Park. And I kind of chuckled watching it, because while I wanted to get the feels from it, and while there are times where we all want a bit of that nostalgia, something that brings us back to a place, and this could bring me back to a place. I'll tell you a story. Every summer, middle school, even early in my high school years, every summer, we did this. Got on our bikes, went down to the local field during the summer and played pickup games, much like you'd see in that Sandlot movie. It brings me right back there. Baseball, more than any other sport, is ingrained in me. It's the sport I played the most growing up. I was a bat boy for a AA minor league baseball team, the Rockies AA affiliate, the New Haven Ravens, their first year as a franchise. Got to see some great players come through the Eastern League. Big baseball card collector. I mean, baseball is my lifeblood when it comes to sports. If you gave me one sport and said this is the only sport you can watch for the rest of your life, it would still be baseball. So you got me. I'm already that guy. But as I watched this video, this promo for baseball, and the harkening back to a time when the game was played a certain way, and Ray Charles and all that stuff, I couldn't help but wonder, what game are they watching today? Because this isn't baseball today. This isn't the game I grew up loving. This isn't Don Mattingly or Wade Boggs striking out, 40 times a season, or Tony Gwynn hitting .340 every year, or Kirby Puckett doing the things he did. It is not the same game. And by the way, it's not to say it's a horrible game or anything like that. But to try and mix the old and try and bring us back to that place with what's currently going on in baseball, when, by the way, you are on the precipice of a work stoppage that could claim all of next season. And that's not being hyperbolic. There is a damn good chance there is no baseball next year. So I hope you enjoyed this damn All-Star Game, because you may not have one next year. Because you've got two heavily entrenched sides. One that wants a salary cap and a limit and a ceiling on salaries as far as teams are concerned, and another side that's saying, no way in hell we're going to let that happen. Separate problem for a separate time. You've got an automated ball strike zone. You've got bases that are bigger. You've got pitch clocks. You've got only the ability to throw over X number of times. You have Manfred Man, as Michael K likes to call it, the ghost runner in extra innings during regular season games. Basically the equivalent of hockey's, overtime rules during the regular season, where you go to a shootout. Different rules. Different rules during the regular season in the NFL. They've done some things similar to that. I mean, this is not the same game that they were trying to remind us that we fell in love with. If you're falling in love with baseball today, you're not falling in love with the game that I was playing riding on a bike going to hang out with my friends at the Pit in East Haven, Connecticut as a kid. You're falling in love with a different game. Yeah, I could sit here and show you the highlights from a boring 4-0 All-Star game. Miguel Vargas hit the only home run in the game. Yeah, I could show you Junior Caminero getting hit in the hand. Thankfully, it's not a serious injury, and it looks like he's gonna be okay. I could show you all that. But I think we need to have a serious conversation, because the baseball that MLB and Fox Sports tried giving us last night in that promo, that game doesn't exist anymore. If you're falling in love with baseball now, that's not what you're falling in love with. You're falling in love with a completely different game. Where 250 strikeouts, okay. Where you can make the All-Star team hitting 250, that's okay. Not the game I grew up with. And again, I'm okay. I can adjust. I'm adaptable. But it's not the same game. And there's no way of getting around it. All right, that's the big story. We got a lot more to do in this program. Kurt Helin coming up later in the show to talk about the NBA. What's going on with LeBron? When is he going to sign? Who's he going to sign with? Reading the tea leaves on that. But David Aardsma, former big league reliever and closer, joins us as Sports Wrap goes inside baseball. And Sports Wrap continues. Welcome back to the show. I've had my say in the big story, where we talked about the MLB All-Star Game. I want to get some thoughts at this guy. Our friend David Aardsma is here, former big league reliever and closer, as Sports Wrap goes inside baseball. Thank you for gracing us with your presence, my friend. Appreciate that.
Of course.
So what I talked about in the big story, since we just did it and you didn't obviously get to see it, is while baseball, I was watching this thing where the kids came out on the bikes and they did this like 4.5 minute thing, which made you feel nostalgic and gave you the feels for baseball and the fireworks and Ray Charles and the Sandlot, and it was great. This isn't that game anymore. Stop selling me nostalgia when you've got bigger base paths, you can only throw over so many times, you've got pitch clocks, you've got the phantom runner in extra innings, you've got home run derby to solve the All-Star game if it's tied. Stop selling me nostalgia. It's not the same game.
Oh, you're just hater, man.
Oh, sweet Jesus. I am not. Tell me I'm wrong. Like it's not that they're selling me something that doesn't exist anymore.
I understand like that point a little bit.
A
little bit. I still like it. Baseball still brings back the nostalgia versus any other sport. That's the one thing that it has that football doesn't, basketball doesn't, baseball or hockey doesn't have, where it can sell you. Hockey does a little bit, but it can sell you the past and make you feel connected, because outside of those, well, think about those, like what you're bringing up is like, oh, we're limiting the amount of time a pitcher has to throw, but back in the 50s, that's what they did. And then you're saying, oh, the bases are a little bit bigger by what, half an inch. It's like we're playing with these tiny little rule changes that didn't change the game. That hasn't had any real massive effect versus if you took today's game and you went to the 1950s, there wouldn't be a difference besides the players. And that's besides the size of the players. And like everything is essentially the exact same. And they can sell that all they want. My only issue is it's hard to watch for 4.5 minutes, whatever it is. And trying to get all these feels constantly. And then like every inning you're doing something like that. Then they're doing the stand up to cancer, which is a great thing, a meaningful thing. But that's the only game they do it. And you're doing all of these things. It's hard to be entertained while you're watching that.
In a shutout game.
Yes.
Oh, by the way, add the automated strike zone. I forgot about that too. So I want to get your thoughts on this Junior Caminero injury. Thankfully, it looks like he didn't break anything. I mean, this is frightening stuff. In an All-Star game, the last thing you want to see is anybody get hurt, because then everybody panics and knee-jerk reaction is, we got to get rid of the All-Star game because somebody's going to get hurt, like we've seen in so many other leagues. So I'm curious, if you're in that spot and you're the pitcher, what's going through your mind? Because I've never asked you this. You know, we see pitchers hit a guy in the hand, break his hand, he's out for 2 months. Somebody gets hit in a sensitive area and you wind up losing them for a while. As a pitcher, what's going through your mind in that moment?
Well, I always separate two things. One is like regular season or playoffs, and then All-Star game. The All-Star game is supposed to be fun, festivities. Like everyone's having a great time. Everyone wants them kind of make their mark, have their one moment. You're going to get one at bat or one inning. So you want to like, that's your stage. And this might, for Caminero, I assume there's gonna be a lot more. And O'Brien, I hope there are a lot more, but it's very hard as a reliever and all that stuff to make an All-Star game, much harder than any other position. So that might be your only chance. And that's how you're going to be remembered, is almost taking out the MVP of the guy. That's heartbreaking. That's hard. That's like, you're sitting there, you're thinking about it the whole time. Like you're thinking about get out of the inning. And I'm going to try to get over to that locker room and see him and apologize. And like, hey, you didn't mean it. No one meant it. Nothing like that. Regular season, there's a little bit of, I don't want to hurt anybody, but get off the plate. Or better yet, if you don't want to take the risk, don't stand up there. That's the way. Like if I hit you, my bad. Like, hey, go get better. I'll send you flowers.
Really?
I don't mean to. I don't want to.
You don't feel any guilt or anything? Even if one gets away from you and it's not somebody on the plate? Like
a twinge? That dude's also trying to take my money off of they're trying to take food off my kid's table. They're trying to hit a home run. If they hit the ball right back at me, they'll feel a little twinge and then say like, well, should get out of the way. Like there's a little bit. But you can't survive in a league like that by feeling guilty about every little thing you did when you didn't mean to do it. And it's the game. I don't want to hit you. I'm so sorry. My bad. Like I just don't want you to be hurt. But if I hit you, I don't care. I do not care if I hit you. I'm sorry if it hurt you. Like I'm sorry if you're hurt. It better leave a bruise. That means at least it was a good pitch. But I didn't mean to hurt you. I absolutely don't want to be like a career ender, anything like that. Oh God, no. At the same time, I have to think like that, or I can't stand on the mound and pitch again. I can't pitch with fear. I have to pitch with an unbridled, I don't care attitude. And that's why like the greats are the greats. They were well known for hitting you and not caring. So what do you expect like everybody else to be like care? Like, I'm so sorry. Like come over and give you a hug. Like I get the whole bow out of respect, like Japanese culture. Totally get it. I'm up for that, but then let it go. And you can't think again about it.
Cody Bellinger winning the MVP. Any problems with that?
No problems other than like I didn't see who won the MVP because there was nobody that really should have. But like, if you had the whole list of what happened, no problem.
I gave it to the whole AL pitching staff. I mean,
the whole pitching staff, like that would have been dang cool. Give it to the pitching coach and be like, dude, like
Pete Walker.
Everybody got it because you guys just went absolutely berserk on the mound. It ended up being the award that somebody had to get. All right, fine, Belly, you scored. You got 2 RBIs. You just happened to be the guy at the plate with two guys on base and got him in.
I know you're not a fan. I know you're not a fan of like the players being mic'd and talking. I'm going to be.
I love it.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm
right.
1,000%
I thought you didn't like it.
When they did it with Alec Manoah a couple years ago, I thought that was the coolest thing because I've stood behind him on the mound and heard that before. And then I thought that Dylan Cease and Shane Langoliers, oh my God.
Oh, okay. All right. I talked to somebody that doesn't like it. I can't remember who it was. Somebody who comes on this show frequently isn't a big fan of it. I'm glad it's not you. Alec Manoah, by the way. Where's he these days? We're coming back more with David Aardsma as we continue on Sports Wrap. Sports Wrap goes inside baseball every Wednesday on the show with this guy, the one and only David Aardsma. Hear him on Sirius XM MLB Radio. See him here. He'll be doing the Little League World Series. I keep saying San Bernardino.
Yes.
It's still part of it. San Bernardino, right? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
When is that?
August 7th, I think there's a 10th or 11th. It's a long tourney.
Yeah, it's a very long tournament.
Like they already played all the state stuff. That's all done. Now we're just waiting almost a month.
Second half of the season will get underway this weekend. Jacob Misiorowski, I have to bring him up because you know how I felt about, being fearful of, what his arm can and cannot handle. We've talked about this at great length. Now you hear the arm fatigue. He doesn't start against Skeens on Sunday, doesn't pitch in the All-Star game. Level of concern?
High.
Oh.
Very high. Especially when they use the term.
He's thrown the most pitches in baseball this year, too. Oh, no, most pitches over 100 miles an hour. That was the number.
Yes. I think we're all aware of that, what this guy's doing when he is pitching. A huge concern when I hear didn't recover after the last start. Like that is a concern. That is like arm fatigue or something in there, some inflammation that is just kind of creeping up. That might be just a general term they're trying to use to get him out of the All-Star game. And they might say, all right, let's pull the plug on a start just to make sure we don't have any concern that you're throwing extra innings and extra this and extra that. That might be something there. I don't know how much major league teams are manipulating that anymore when they could literally just say, hey, we don't want him to pitch. I don't like it. I don't like the sound of it, and it definitely is concerned. We've seen what this guy's been capable of, and we see that there wasn't a whole lot of breaks with him, right? Like they're letting him go, letting him pitch in games. 107, 103 was his last start on July 7th. So it's not like they're out there and holding him to like 60, like 70, 80 pitches every single outing. They've let him go on some. I have a massive concern when you're pulling guys from starts and saying he's not recovering. That just means they're like your overuse or something.
Is somebody in that organization going to be held to account for that?
No.
Is it that, they were too liberal in how much they were allowing him to go out there? I mean, is there a meeting somewhere in an office between ownership, GM, manager, pitching coach where we're saying, all right, we gotta like recalibrate this?
So understand there was a meeting probably when they drafted him. There was a meeting with that probably group or like ownership and GM and pitching coach, and then below that like the player development, like then another meeting with like the pitching coach and player development or whatever, or the head of the minor leagues and player development. And then throughout the year, those meetings are constantly kind of taking place, making sure the owner, or maybe the owner's not involved, but team president, all that stuff. There are multiple meetings where you're talking about plan with a guy like him, and you're presenting the plan. They're tearing it apart. You're telling it why that shouldn't, this should be that way and this should be that way. And then you're doing it with management. Like everybody's a part of this. Trainers are part of it. Like there's a giant part of major league teams that's literally their entire job is just to make sure these guys are on the field. And they're not necessarily training them. They're not doing anything. They're managing their workload separately from pitching coaches and all that stuff. And they're part of all of those conversations as well. This guy, like major league pitchers are so managed behind the scenes Every pitch, everything is being graded. They have data points inside that stadium that they're recording on every pitch, on stress levels on his arm, everything. They're recording it on every single pitch in that stadium. Every pitch. When they talk about pitching lab, they don't mean a little like bullpen. That stadium's the lab. And so they're analyzing this stuff nonstop, managing workload. And now they're just going to look at this and say, okay, what did we learn from this? Did we do anything different than what we had planned? Did we screw something up? And then they're going to rebuild a new plan. Nobody's being held accountable because everybody's accountable the whole time. They're nonstop accountable, and they're all saying yes to something. The only time anybody gets held accountable to something like this is if there wasn't a disagreement and one went that way.
Right.
But with those things, there's no disagreements because it's so manhandled like on so many different ways, like tiny little checkpoints.
Justin Verlander announces his retirement.
Yes.
He's going to pitch through the rest of the season. It's kind of got a Clayton Kershaw feel to it. If a guy's doing that sort of thing, we saw sort of the way it played out with Kershaw last year. How does that impact either the locker room or him and the way he's going out and doing his work? Every fifth day when Verlander eventually does get back out there, which we hope is soon. How does all that kind of come together now?
Well, you just if it's like Verlander or Mariano or something, you're having a little celebration before games, on the road and doing stuff. It really doesn't change anything. Like everyone everyone knew. It just finally had to be said. One, congratulations to him on just an incredible career, and two, it just makes it a little bit more meaningful to fans to come out and see him like, all right, this is the last time I'm going to get to see Justin Verlander if I want to go watch him pitch. And that's really the only thing that changes. And then once you get to the end of the season, there's a little bit more teary-eyed, like now it's the end, this is the last thing going through. It doesn't change much in the locker room. Like everybody knew, like a lot of guys will announce their retirement after the season. It's done. It's just like, all right, like be healthy, get through this thing and let's have those moments.
Mason Miller, talk about the Padres dealing him if they don't perform well here in the official second half of the season. So where makes sense? I've heard John Heyman and the folks around, that cover the Yankees, that know the Yankees well, bringing him up. I don't know if they have the prospects for him, because I would think it'd be a big haul. Your thoughts on the potential of Mason Miller moving before the trade deadline in August?
It makes sense. I mean, again, they're right at 500. They're not going to catch the Dodgers. That ship has sailed. They're going to probably catch the Diamondbacks. They should. So I could see them making the playoffs. They have a team to make a run in the playoffs. Like I look at this team and go, why am I going to trade them? This is a win kind of now team. Like the couple of their big guys are a now team and they have the best reliever in baseball. Do you trade them and get something for them? I could absolutely see that. But again, you got the best reliever in baseball. Sign him to a multi-year deal. Have you seen that stadium when it lights up at the end of the game?
Yeah.
This guy, keep him around because you still have guys that are there to win championships. Like you still have a team for a long time.
David Aardsma does a great job on Major League Baseball, SiriusXM MLB Radio. You can catch him here every Wednesday as well. Thank you, my friend. Have a great week.
No, thank you.
Welcome back to the show. Wednesdays on this program include David Aardsma. We've now flipped them. David Aardsma and baseball go first, and now this guy, Kurt Helin, goes second. Kurt Helin.
Should at this point, yeah. I mean, baseball All-Star Game,
right.
Shutouts in the baseball All-Star Game, which is great TV.
God, like really? Can anybody get an All-Star Game right? Anybody? I just shut down every All-Star game. Just shut them all down. Like, I'll do my John Taffer. Shut it down! Kurt Helin of Pro Basketball Talk at NBCSports.com is here. I didn't get to meet you while you were in Vegas.
I am sorry.
I'm sorry. No, it's on me too. It's on me too.
No. This was We'll talk about it off air.
Yeah.
One of the busiest for me summer leagues I've had in a lot of ways. So it was kind of different. It was a different vibe.
It's all right. I won't hold it against you. We're still doing the NBA weekly for at least one more week. I'm debating, unless LeBron news breaks at this point, what are we really talking about?
LeBron is the domino holding up. And the Kawhi Leonard
aspiration
thing are the two things now actually holding up business. Where like James Harden, remember, opted out to help the Cavaliers. They're waiting. They can't. There's nothing like everybody's hands are tied, and there is a real sense in Vegas. And sometimes I think it's just me, but no, it was other people too. Just all right, make the decision. You've had your moment in the spotlight. Let's make your call. Or if you really want to do the whole I want to watch 2 months of the season, then decide. It is your prerogative. But do that.
Hold on. You just kind of blew my mind with that. Is there a chance he'd do that?
I don't think so. Because
then why did you say it?
Look, that is out there in the universe.
Okay.
It has been brought up by others. Frankly, it's not a terrible idea. If you want to contend that badly, the teams we're talking about, Cleveland, Philadelphia. Philadelphia is a great example. On paper, that's his best. I want to win now. This team could win with me basketball situation. Mm-hmm. But that's paper. We've all seen how many teams in how many sports go, oh, that looks great on paper. And then they get in the real world. It doesn't work that way. So he could wait it out. But he wants to film a documentary. He's got crews following him around all year last year. He's got a crew that's going to follow him around this year and document everything. You can't do that from home for 2 months.
Kurt, where's he going?
I still keep hearing Cleveland. I talk to people a lot in Vegas, and because it's certainly one of the topics of discussion. And Cleveland still seems to be where the tea leaves are pointed. Again, it works great. It's a good basketball fit because this is a team that came they made the Eastern Conference Finals, got smoked by the Knicks, but the problem was James Harden couldn't rise up to the occasion. You only get so much out of some of the, guys like Donovan Mitchell tried, but he's going to only give you so much. LeBron James showed and he lifted the Lakers with four other guys, starters who are no longer on the team, past Houston in the first round. He can still raise his game in those moments. That is exactly what Cleveland could use. And it makes the most narrative sense for the aforementioned documentary. Going home, it just all flows together.
Can I ask you, because I haven't heard this brought up much. Bronny is still in L.A. And he's under contract. So he's just staying there, and they go their separate ways. And it's, hey, you had the training wheels on with me here for a couple of years with you. Now you're on your own, kid. You got to make your own bones. Yeah,
basically. And Dan Wojcicki reported this at the L.A. Times. His old job, the Athletic, the other day. And it's not really a surprise. Look, they gave Bronny a 3-year contract with 4th year, I think, team option, based on LeBron. Let's not pretend that. But I want to give Bronny credit. When he took the job, there was kind of the running joke was he's 2 years away from being 2 years away kind of guy. Well, 2 years later, he's developed into the kind of guy you should give a 2-way or a minimum contract to because he's got real potential. He has shown the ability to play at that level in stretches. He's looked, as one scout put it to me there when we actually had this conversation, he's almost an NBA player now. And if you've got him this far, the Lakers want to see it through. And the other part of this that should not go unmentioned, Jason, you and I can joke about him all we want. Bronny is wildly popular with a younger demographic. He is one of the most. He and LaMelo Ball are social media gods.
Really, Bronny's doing that much on social media? I didn't even know that.
Bronny is a huge social media following and hit, and so there's a value to that for the team.
One more, and then we'll break, and then I'll get you on the summer league stuff. DeMar DeRozan. Where does he fall in all of this? Is he also waiting on LeBron? Where makes sense for him where he can make an impact for a potential contender?
Miami is a really good logical spot where that team needs some depth and scoring and around Giannis and Bam Adebayo. They lost Norman Powell. That said, he is the guy most impacted by LeBron's decision. He is everybody's, oh, we didn't get LeBron. Well, we can plug that hole sort of with DeMar. And so he's waiting.
That's it?
That's really what it is. When LeBron makes a decision, DeMar will have a team probably within 48 hours.
But is there a list of teams that you've heard of that people are talking about that people were talking about in Vegas?
Miami, Cleveland. I don't think Philly fits. I know Golden State's had some level of interest. He's going to probably have to play for the minimum or close to it. But there are teams, but it's basically all the teams in the LeBron mix if they strike out.
I only have 30 seconds left in this one, and then we're coming back. But if LeBron doesn't go to Golden State, is it a foregone conclusion that Draymond is still going to wind up back there on some sort of deal?
Yes. Okay. Draymond's not going anywhere. They are going to run it back. What you see is what you get. And I know that team won, I think, 37 games and got bumped in the play-in. They'll be back on track for another year of that. And hope that when Jimmy Butler gets back, it changes things midseason.
Kurt Helin, Pro Basketball Talk at NBCSports.com. We got one more segment with him. It's the NBA Weekly. Welcome back. It's SportsWrap's NBA Weekly with the one and only Kurt Helin of Pro Basketball Talk at NBCSports.com. Thank God he comes on with some second-tier illegitimate host like me. Man, so glad he does. Because according to Jason Barrett, I'm just some second-tier illegitimate host.
I don't think you're illegitimate.
Yeah. Well played. Well played. So, I want to talk about the Summer League, and you got an interesting anecdote on Gary Trent Jr. that I want to talk about as well. Run through some of these things that we saw in the Summer League. I mean, Caleb Wilson, AJ DeBonsa.
I think the top headline is all four of the top picks looked legit, looked really good out there. Like they lived up to the billing. DeBonsa is, and I mean, I saw him a little more than a year ago now at Hoop Summit. He is so fluid as an athlete. He is just it. The analogy I keep using now is, remember watching peak Roger Federer tennis, and you're like, yeah, but he's not like, there's explosive Nadal, and he's running all over the place, and Nadal's a little more like classic, I don't know, Russell Westbrook, like just this explosive athlete. And Federer was almost as good an athlete, but just fluid, just smooth. It didn't look like he's like that. DeBonsa just doesn't. He gets by guys, but it's just this graceful move. Cameron Boozer is exactly what you think he was. He is just a machine. Every little thing he does is so polished and so smooth. And like, I was with a scout. He's watching. He goes, watch him on this fast break. Watch the seal he puts mid post. That's a 10-year veteran seal. Like, it just, every little thing is so technically right. Peterson looked fantastic for them. And Wilson, 30. Look, he's not going to shoot like that every game. He made as many threes in his first Summer League game as he made his entire year at UNC. That's not going to happen consistently, but you could see the potential for this guy to be. Look, if everything comes together for him, he could actually be the best guy out of this class.
I'm gonna ask you a very unfair question, because that's what I do. NBA Rookie of the Year odds: Darren Peterson 3-1, Cameron Boozer 3-1, AJ DeBonsa 4-1, Caleb Wilson 5-1, Acuff Jr. 750. Based on just what you saw in the Summer League,
yeah,
who's the Rookie of the Year?
I would probably go with Peterson, and honestly, I might put a second. I think Acuff has a real chance, and Acuff's got a real chance to win the award because they're going to put the ball in his hands. That is not a good team in Sacramento. They are going to give him the keys to the car and let him go drive. And that could put up numbers where... That
could go the other way, too, though. Portland kind of did that with Scoot Henderson in his rookie year, and it kind of went sideways.
Right. And Scoot finally seemed to get things together last year, so now they went out and got Ja Morant. The other guy, I would probably put Peterson, though, only again a little bit because of the situation. He is going to be in the midst of a good group of players. He's got, look, their starting five is Keontae George, who played really well for them last year. Peterson, probably Ace Bailey at the 3, came on last year. And then at 4 and 5, you've got Laurie Markkinen and Jaren Jackson Jr. Like, that team is going to win games, and Peterson's going to have the ball a fair amount in that and look good doing it within a team setting. So I'll go with that, but it's really hard to predict. If Caleb Wilson comes together really quickly and he and Josh Giddey click, things could happen. I think he's a year away. I think he's just a little raw.
Selfish motivations here. Did you get to see Terrace Reed at all?
Yes.
How'd he look?
I like him. Talk about a guy who walked in the door with an NBA body. Yeah. So yeah, he is.
But is he a tweener? Is he a 4.5? Is he what is he?
I don't know. He looked 4.5. Yeah. I mean, kind of depends on how you want to use him there. I mean, he's coming off the bench, obviously, on that team in San Antonio. But he can play minutes for them. So you can see the fit. I think that's going to be a good one.
Gary Trent Jr. was the talk of Las Vegas. Why?
Salary cap circumvention. And the league may end up doing nothing about this, just for the record. But Gary Trent Jr., for people who don't know, has spent the last 2 years in Milwaukee on a minimum deal. They needed depth around Giannis. He took what was probably a discount that first year. But last year had the worst year of his career. He regressed. He did not look great. Scored 8 points a game. And suddenly he got a full mid-level, 4 years, fully guaranteed $64 million. A massive pay raise when everybody in the league's like, hey, he's still a minimum player. Maybe you give him the room and stuff, a little more, maybe you give him a little over the minimum, but he's not more than that. And he gets this massive deal. And it's pretty obvious that Milwaukee said to him and his agent, if you play for the minimum for us when we've got Giannis, in a couple of years, we'll make you whole. Like, it is painfully obvious.
How do you prove it,
though?
How do you prove it, though?
There's two parts to that. There is a part in the CBA that says if you can't explain a contract some other logical way, you can claim it's this. The problem is this. For the league to investigate, another team has to complain.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
And right, it's hey, you just signed a mid-level, but you just signed one of the worst contracts in the NBA instantly. It is right the day it's signed, it becomes one of the worst contracts in the league. Nobody else in the league is going to be like, yeah, they made a bad move. That's a really terrible decision they made. We would like you to look into that. No, they're going to be like, fine, screw it up. But you can't even trade him for 2 years like that unless he rehabs his image somehow.
Kurt Helin, Pro Basketball Talk at NBCSports.com. You're on call in case we get LeBron news. But other than that, my friend, I will talk to you when I talk to you. I
was stunned he didn't do it while I was flying home, so,
Kurt, always appreciate you, my friend. Be well.
Take care, buddy.
Just about time to put the wraps on this Wednesday edition of the show. Do some WNBA on the show tomorrow. Some interesting matchups tonight. Golden State and Indiana. Should be a good one. Oh, we'll have a whole list of things. We've got the Open Championship, round 1 tomorrow. If you live on the West Coast, you're getting up damn early to watch it. I love watching. I used to get up super early to watch the entire thing. Now I got the show and everything that comes with that, so I don't know how early I'll get up to watch, but I think out here it starts close to midnight. It might even start before midnight on the West Coast, the opening round of the Open Championship, but we'll get excited for it either way. Tomorrow's show, we will cover that. Couple of reminders before we go. The Sports Wrap with Jason Page podcast. The audio version of this show available Monday through Friday, wherever you get your podcasts. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Podcasts, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Odyssey, Amazon, anywhere you get a podcast. You can listen to this show, crystal clear audio. Go and subscribe. It's free, 45 minutes, limited commercial interruptions. It works just as well as an audio podcast as it does anything else. The Sports Wrap with Jason Page YouTube channel is the place to find all things Sports Wrap with Jason Page. The Monday through Friday TV version of the show is available for you. 45 minutes, no commercials, just great conversation. Extended conversations also available on the Sports Wrap with Jason Page YouTube channel as well. So you'll want to go and check that out. Sports Wrap shorts are also available there. News breaks, we jump in with those. Go and check it out, the Sports Wrap with Jason Page YouTube channel. Now, everything Sports Wrap related, all the things I just mentioned, available at sportswrap.tv, our new website. Sportswrap.tv is the website. The Daily Wrap, our Substack newsletter, you can subscribe at sportswrap.tv. You can go and check out the podcast, subscribe to that. You can go and check out our YouTube videos. They're available as well, and we link to those at sportswrap.tv. You can find your affiliate. You want to know where to watch the show? Maybe you watch us on YouTube. Guess what? We're on TV. 270 affiliates strong, U.S. and Canada. Hello to our friends watching on Game Plus. You can go and check out the show there. Very easy to do. Just type in your affiliate at sportswrap.tv. Just type in your city and state at sportswrap.tv, and it'll tell you where you can watch the show as well. Merchandise store, all that good stuff coming soon as well. But let's start things out. Let's do what we always do in this final segment of the show. It's one of my favorite things we do every day. It's time for some odds and ends. Odds and ends, and well, Steve Yzerman. It's the end for Steve Yzerman with the Detroit Red Wings. I believe he was there 7 seasons, not a single playoff appearance. The Red Wings have knocked on the door the last couple of years, and they've definitely shown signs of improvement, but abruptly is the word being used for Steve Yzerman stepping down from the front office with the Detroit Red Wings. And when journalists and beat writers and people that cover a certain sport and a certain team write a word like abruptly, it tells you something. Something had to have occurred. This was not, if it was a surprise to those that are covering the team, usually you could sniff these things out before they happen. If this is something that was abrupt, as it's being described, something happened that wasn't supposed to. I'm sure we'll find out in the days ahead. We will cover it here on the show. Watch this space. Odds and ends. We were talking about baseball with our friend David Aardsma, and we got into the story of Jacob Misiorowski, who's going to be out, who missed the All-Star game, then missed his start on Sunday against Paul Skeens and the Brewers. Pittsburgh won that game huge, by the way. Then missed the All-Star game. And they're saying, tired arm, fatigue, had trouble recovering from his last start. And then you see this news today. Why is Lance McCullers on your screen? Well, Lance McCullers Jr., I should say. His dad pitched for the Yankees when I was a kid. I remember him well. Lance McCullers Jr. has been traded from the Astros to the Milwaukee Brewers. We don't know what's going back to the Brewers in this deal. McCullers is on a rehab assignment right now. He's getting ready to come back. He's in the last year of like a $96 million deal. It's the kind of deal you would expect the Brewers to make. Well, in this case, McCullers going to the Brewers should be even more of a warning sign for what they think could be going on with Jacob Misiorowski. Because you're not making this deal. When you're a Brewers team that's riding high on top of the NL Central, you're not making this deal unless something's going on with Misiorowski that we haven't learned about yet. Keep an eye on that story. Odds and ends, thank goodness. This idiot who wrote a racial slur on social media about Chelsea Gray of the Las Vegas Aces, we got to shame these people. We absolutely have to shame these people. And I know a lot of people might say, well, it's kind of harsh. He lost his job with Hilton and all this stuff. No. You cannot, as a company, have somebody representing you, working in a capacity for your brand, that says the things this man said about Chelsea Gray. You can go look at it online if you want to find out for yourself. I'm not going to dignify it or give it more oxygen by saying what he said. But you know what? Kudos to Hilton for doing the right thing. They had to put out a press release about it yesterday. Feel bad for that PR and communications department because that couldn't have been fun. But you know what? Apologies go out to Chelsea Gray on behalf of humanity. You shouldn't have to deal with that. No matter what goes on in a game, your team wins, your team loses, fan behavior is at an all-time low right now everywhere. And Las Vegas is not immune to that. So our best wishes go out to Chelsea Gray, and glad this guy got his head handed to him. And that's going to do it for us on this Wednesday edition of the show. Thank you to David Aardsma and Kurt Helin, all of you at home for watching. I'm Jason Page. We'll see you back here tomorrow.